Nobody reviews it better. Makes it so sad to watch. Why are you even paying attention to me? I'm not the one. I actually made a mistake in my Live and Let Die review that I'm gonna have to correct in my For Your Eyes Only review, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Spy Who Loved Me came out in 1977, about 3 years after the last one, Man with a Golden Gun. And it's that I believe was probably like close to the biggest disparity between the Bond films we had up until that point. I think the only other one that was as long or longer was that was the longest we had, because I mean we had 96 for it's 96, 67 for You Only Live Twice. Majesty Secret was 2 years after that. Dinosaur Forever 2 years after that. 2 years after that, 1 year after that, and then a 3 year gap. So that was the first time we actually had a little bit of a waiting period for Bond films. And this is widely considered to be probably Moore's best film as James Bond. And I would be inclined to agree with that assessment. It's definitely one that you remember. You remember Jaws. You remember Agent Triple X, Barbara Bach. You remember a great deal of this film, and for good reason. It's actually very well acted. It's very well structured as well. Excuse me. We're low on propane, and I think that that smell is kind of permeating the house a little bit. There's not a leak. I don't think there's a leak, but we were dealing with something like our water isn't heating up, so we need like a propane delivery, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's still one of those Bond films that when it's on, I'm like, oh, I'll watch it, definitely. It's got one of the best Bond songs, you know. Nobody does it better. I like how it comes back in the end. Nobody does it better. As it half as good as you, baby, you're the one. I wasn't, and then goes into the more beautiful version of the song. Like, it's a good song, definitely. And it's great. It really is a solid movie dealing with Russians and the West having to actually work together in a time of an era where they were very much opposed the Cold War. And the inner workings of that. Plus, you get to see the gadget, the car that goes underwater. If I'm not mistaken, that was in this one. Yeah, it was in this one. And I always enjoy seeing M's interactions with just about any of these Bonds. And really, 007. It's very well acted. The action sequences are fun. Because at this point, you're not getting the Daniel Craig and Pierce Brosnan action sequences, but you're getting some fun set pieces, certainly. There's definitely tense moments too, like will Bond be able to disarm the nuke in time? Definitely, like that was good. The scene in the desert, both of them where Jaws was involved, was really impressive. Well, not impressive, but really fun to watch. Like it's a fun him constantly like throwing one-liners out there towards while Jaws tearing the car apart. That was a lot of fun. The kind of like near indestructibility of Jaws is also, I think, a really fun thing to play on. Just lands a giant boulder on his foot and it doesn't really faze him that much, except it's more like, ow. He takes down a shark with his teeth. He survives the explosion of Strongwell. That was it. Strongwell's base. That was the name of the bad guy. Base, and just swims to shore. And he shows up for Moonraker later on. He's a fun Bond bad guy. And Barbara Bach is one of the more iconic Bond girls. Bond women. Let's call them Bond women at this point. Because she's actually going toe-to-toe with Bond. She's a spy comparable to him in her intelligence and her means. She's able. The scene where they're kind of squaring each other up in the bar. Well, not the bar, but they're in a casino with a bar. But in the scene, in what they're basically is like, you have a vodka martini shaken, not stirred. And then he'll go. He says something about her, and they're kind of like testing each other a little bit until she brings up his wife, and married only once, and but she dies, like, and then he goes, "You made your point," and it's like at that point you realize, oh, it's like you're crossing into a territory you shouldn't cross, lady. So. And even she seems a bit like, oh, I didn't think that'd get a striking nerves. Like, in the long term, like, if Bond wanted to kill her, he would have killed her, but he clearly didn't. He's like, oh, she's very attractive. Of course she is. Yes. I do like the fact she's ones up him several times, like, drugging him, all that, and then it turns out he's one up her before she one up him. If I were to point out a flaw with this film, in my opinion, though, I would say that first off, the villain's plan is very odd. It's one of those plans like, oh, we're gonna, cause war and we're gonna create a city under the sea. Under the sea. The idea is, like, his little gimmick is that he's actually got webbed hands. That's why he doesn't like to shake hands. They don't really illustrate that point very well, though. Like, they never says, like, he's got webbed hands. He never has, like, a story like, I was mocked as a child from my hands. And, there's none of that at all. So I'm like, you could have illustrated that point a little bit better. And among Bond villain deaths, he definitely has one of the most lackluster, to be certain. So he just gets shot through the harpoon port for his harpoon gun in the groin, pretty much, and that's it. He gets shot a couple times. That's it. Yeah, it is just one of the more Bond moments, Bond deaths, but still, it is one of the better Bond films, no doubt about it. Where it ultimately plays out, I couldn't really tell you, but in terms of ranking, until I actually get around to ranking it myself. But until then, that's my thoughts on this one. It is definitely one of my favorite Bond films, especially in the Roger Moore era. This is, again, one of the movies that Roger Moore ones that I'm like, if it's on, oh yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it. Unlike, say, For Your Eyes Only or Moonraker, where I'll watch some of it, but I won't watch it from beginning to end. And we'll talk more about those ones as we get to them. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is the only video I'm putting up today. I have now reached the point where I'm like, okay, I've done 9. I was on the 9th day, so now I can just do them one a day. But I am pre-recording a bunch of them. I'm probably actually going to do 3 at a time just so I'll have them available. Until then, thanks for watching, though. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks next time. Later.